Uh, I believe it's easy to believe that it's always something that's outside of you that's causing the issues, or something that is somebody, I don't know, a curse, or you're blocking someone else's karma for coming to them from the wrath of God, or so forth, whatever that could be. But what if it's not that? What if it's you have to be tried and tested? What if it's the fact that you have to go through your trials and tribulations? What if it's the fact that you have to be renewed, which means that there has to be a falling of the old man, which means that the old wineskins have no more purpose, so they're being discarded. And I believe that's a painful process. It's almost as if, not I believe, I know it's a painful process because I've been going through it. It's easy to have so much faith and be on fire for God when everything seems to be going correct. But it's very difficult when God literally showed you your life, or showed you his life story, and then you die in that moment, and you are being reborn again, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, in his creation, in his form, because he chose to pour his spirit out onto you. So whatever you was doing before has no weight or value to you anymore. I remember when I had my last encounter where it felt like I literally felt that I had passed on. And I remember laying there naked in my room on the floor, and I could not move. There was no movement, there was nothing. And eventually life brought back into my vessel, but it wasn't like I was me anymore. I was different, and everything else that I was doing before didn't have any purpose or value. I mean, I was still drawing and creating, but I remember looking at my clothes and thinking, these aren't really my clothes. I remember looking at myself and feeling totally different. And as time progressed on, I noticed that things were different for me. Life seemed very different. And the more I was always in scripture, even as a child, because of my difficult upbringing, and just because of the fact that I was very inquisitive, and I just was always seeking knowledge. But this time ago, it was different. It was like like God was like I would okay. I feel like Father was revealing Himself to me. I feel like over the course of the process of these years, that's exactly what He has been doing, revealing Himself to me. It's like we went from being cool friends to being like associates, or passing as neighbors, and us passing through as neighbors, a quick hello and quick goodbye, in and out of the residence. And then it became, oh, can I borrow a cup of sugar, or do you have any oil? Then became to sitting down and actually having tea together or coffee together, then to actually being able to like literally build into a courtship. It felt like it has been a and not a courtship in a romantic sense, which I'm not saying God is not romantic, but in a courtship as in, I want to know you, and if I'm choosing to pour my spirit into you, therefore I need to know who I'm pouring my spirit into. These birds are everywhere. And I need to know who I'm pouring my spirit into. I need to know if you're the right individual that I want to connect with. And even though I would hear him consistently all the time as a child, it's like now as an adult, it's been a different type of union, a different type of connection. And to be able to, I don't even want to, it's like people are constantly overusing the word chosen, to be able to be recognized and to be courted by God in a sense where everything has switched up and changed. Like, you, it's not, your life is never the same anymore. Like, you can't do anything that you used to do. You can't connect with people the way you used to connect with people. It's totally different. And I was just praying about this, connecting with God about this the other day, and I was like, this is hilarious. Like, you, this is not easy. Like, it's not an easy situation scenario. It's not easy. Nothing about it is easy at all. It is a connection where it's like when you like when I watch these videos when they talk about the ladies who are switching into different classifications. Like they're no longer in a working class. Now they're in a different type of, it's like a promotion. Like you can no longer hang out with these people, which is kind of odd because you're thinking, why would I not be able to hang out with these people? I've been working all this time. I've been hanging with these people. And it's like, no, now because you're at this level, you got to be mindful of what you're saying and what is being spoken behind closed doors at this round table. And you can't really warn this person about this. You have to be very standoffish and understand that you're given a position in God's business. It's like God is the founder, CEO, and He's pulling you in as. And I've been saying this the other day when I was praying and talking to God. I was like, Father, I was like, it's like you're mentoring me for something that I don't even know, like what is to be expected. It's like you are the founder, and I'm just the vessel that you're pulling through and coming through into in order to create whatever it is that you want to create. And that's like really dope and amazing to even be recognized, to be able to have the authority and the authority to be able to do that and to see it through. So so I can get the level of the courtship, I can get the level of the clean courtship, I can get the level of the mentoring, I can get the level of understanding how life changes, because I believe when you reach a certain level of success and a certain level of status, you no longer have a need or desire to want to do old things anymore, because there are new things that you are excited about doing and learning about and being a part of. And I believe that it just kind of falls off of you, like when you go to the gym or when you work out at home, it just kind of falls off of you. Like the more you working out, the more the weight kind of just disappears on its own. It's like if you're not focused on the fact that you want to lose the weight, you're more so focused on the fact that you want to become healthy. It just winds up molding, because it becomes a aesthetic. It becomes part of who you are. And the more that the Father is mentoring you, the more that He is courting you in a very clean, healthy, professional, and nourishing way, the more you're not focusing on the gang stalking or the negativity that's surrounding you in your environment. The more you're not focused on the fact of trying to force people to see that this is the right way, that this is the correct way to live, that this is where you need to be at. The more you're understanding that in due time, what is for them will be for them. And I was just reading, because I kept hearing about the heathens in my head all morning, and I was just reading about that, about we were all heathens because we were all born into sin. And I believe when you're born into sin, it's like you don't have any idea of what you're doing. You're down here and you're just doing. You know, you may have you may have a little bit of His Spirit in you, but you don't really know until you start seeking Him, until He starts seeking you out too, which is trippy. But in the same sense, it makes sense. So it's like, forgive yourself for what you've been through. Like He's forgiving you for your trials and tribulations. He's forgiving you for your transgressions and all the bad things that you were doing. And it's an opportunity to be, literally for everything to be kind of pulled out for everyone to see. But it's not so much, the first I was like, God, are you trying to humiliate me? Like, what is happening? But it's like, it's not that you're trying to humiliate me. It's a need of humbling me, because at first I was saying this morning to him, I was like, are you trying to break me? Like, is this what we're doing? But it's not even that. It's like, I need to remold you in my image. I need to pour my Spirit onto you. And what you had picked up, the ways of the world and everything else that you was doing, that's not going to work with us. It's like a company is, I know I usually would say about sports, I have so many brothers, that's why I'm like, sports is like the go-to number one for me to be able to say, okay, this is my example, whatever. But no, I would say it's more so like when you are being vetted for a job, and you might not even know that individuals are watching you. Like, you might not even know that people are interested in seeing what you can do and how far you can go and what are you really about, what's your makeup. And it's like, sometimes it's like, for me, it is kind of like, I kind of think, well, wait a minute, you're not thinking that these people are, I don't even want want to overuse the word spiritual, but you're not even thinking that these people are really about that life, because these people are not wearing it on their sleeve when they are in these meetings. When you sit in with these VPs there, you don't know if they're about God. You don't know. You make it feel some good juices and energy coming off of them when they touch you, or they touch your hand, or there's a grazing moment in passing, but you don't know for sure who's for what and who is what. So, but perhaps that's what this is all about. Perhaps that next level, like they say, it's just levels and levels to this, but perhaps that next level is really the connection of the people connecting with God, and God coming in to connection with them in order to create something. Because I was saying the other day to Father, I was like, man, Father, I selfishly at first wanted to be able to build such a large organization, a large like to be a founder of a large company, right? In order to be able to have that type of lifestyle and go when I want to go and do what I want to do. And then it's like you flipped my vision into seeing that it's not really about wanting to have it's not about the accolades and the finances. It's about the responsibility. Because in order to build a large organization, you're building something to be able to take care of other families, to be able to have the responsibility to be able to set everything up so that, like, these are your core values for your family. This is, even though this is not your physical, like, biological family, this is now your professional family. And in order to build something so large and so big, you have to be able to go into that with the correct mindset of knowing that you're now responsible for making sure that these people have food on their table. Like, you're responsible to make sure that these people have health coverage and different benefits. Like, in order to go into something of wanting it only selfishly for the accolades, there's so much of it that comes out of you that you have to give into that company. It is like a child. Even though I've never been pregnant a day in my life, I've helped people raise children, but it's not the same as being the actual mother of a child. And to give birth to a large corporation or a large organization, and knowing that that's a lot of responsibility that comes behind that. There's no I don't want to get up out of the bed today. There's no I don't want to go to a meeting. There's no I don't feel like being bothered today. There's no I just want to put a hat on and, like, literally be incognito. Well, you can do that, you can be incognito, but there's a lot of responsibility behind that. And I feel like you've been mentoring me in so many different facets of life. And instead of me thinking like, oh my gosh, why haven't I found a job yet? Why is this happening to me? You are curating something. And I have to be, look at all these birds. I have to be mindful of the fact that I don't get to rush you in what you're doing. And I have to have faith and patience and know that you got me in every situation, even when it looks very bleak, So, and you're showing me that even at my lowest, you want me to see, because I'm so used to having. And then when I didn't have, I was like, okay, this is just like a wave. Like, I'll just ride this wave. Like, this has been the normal in my life. I'll have a high wave and then I'll have a low wave. But then you're like, no, I'm about to show you where the water is just silent. That there is no wave, there's no ripples. It's just you sitting in that water by yourself. And I'm going to show you how everyone's going to get up out of the ocean or out of the sea or out of the lake and walk away from you. And you're going to have stragglers there that are going to stay there with you because they know, because they watched your track record. They watch how you have been able to get back up and literally take rocks and turn it into honey. And so they're waiting because they're like, no, we've seen her do this before. Like, we're not going to leave because we know that there's a high note coming. We know there's going to be a high tidal wave coming through. And you're like, nope. I want you to see who's really for you. Like, really for you. I want you to see what I can see. I want you to be able to see at my level. And I'm like, this is amazing. Normally I'm like, this is bananas, but no, like, this is amazing. You have been so dope in this process. Like, the fact of me going through what I've been going through for these past years, and me having something and then that being taken away from me, it's like you're testing every bit and fiber of who I am as an individual. And I can only assume which I'm not going to even use word, or I'm not going to even use word assume. I know greatness is following, because I have, you have, you've been testing me for some time, and it's like, whoa, this is deep and intense. And instead of me being like salty about it or feeling any type of ways and regret or anger or shame, you are like, look at this. Like, you're like, watch this. Watch what's going to happen. Watch what they're going to do to you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. But then you're also telling me well, you've been always telling me stuff about people consistently. And I'm always like, I don't want to know any more sins of what people are doing. But it's not like you're a gossiper, God. But you quicken that ear to be like, I told you, So, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for providing space for me to be able to learn some lessons. Thank you for even observing that I can even be deserving of being tested and trialed in all these tribulations. Excuse me. So, thank you. It's been hard. It's been really hard. It's been very uneasy. It's been scary. It's been a lot. It's been very stressful. My neck is killing me. And I'm telling myself I can't stress because I have to have faith. Because without faith, it's just dead works. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And whoever this may help, I hope it helps you. I know it will. And I love you, whoever's out there listening. And you got this. Because he didn't give up on me. So, and I'm still in the thick of all of this madness. So, we just got to keep our heads up and just keep striding and moving forward and having faith. You got this. I love you. Keep going.